Today what we have in the studio is the new LANCOOL 207 digital. The case is obviously, the box is obviously too big for the studio. So let's just quickly take the case out and see what is going on with this particular case. Probably the worst part, or the part I hated the most, is all the static build-up from the styrofoam. So this is the new LANCOOL 207 digital with the name that digital means that they have a display at the front. This is a display with a 1600 by 720p resolution over this. So pretty high resolution for a display of this size. And of course, first thing first, we need to go through this is by taking down the entire case and see what kind of features and design they have to offer over here. So again, tempered glass side is secured without any thumb screws. I thought we have a thumb screw here, but it actually is not. So if you look at here, you basically just, they are secured using the pegs. So just have to push it out carefully and take it out. Pretty thick glass, and they have a steel reinforced support at the top and the bottom. At the both sides, they have the dampeners, like foam dampeners to, number one, reduce any vibrations. When you vibrate, when you have parts in your case vibrates, especially fans, glass and steel, they will start to knocking each other and make some annoying noise like that. So yep. Now as for the bottom here, we have 2 thumb screws, which is to secure another panel, because this is a brand new design which the modern cases they have started to take, which is they have a separate chamber at the bottom for the power supply and the another cooling fan to intake. So that's why they have this perforated sheet for the airs to go in. Unfortunately, I don't see any sort of dust filters over here, but judging from the size of the perforation holes, it should be sufficient to block out most of the hairs and dust. Not to say those fine dust, but should be sufficient for it. We will take a closer look at the rest after we remove the other panels. Like for example, at the back, it's the same using the pegs, which you just need to slightly push it and then you can remove it. Now, they also have another intake at the back here, because obviously you need to have as much intake as possible to have cool air to draw into the case. So back again, perforated channels at the bottom and pretty solid steel back panel. And then here's the top panel. I don't see any screws securing it, so most likely it's still the same. Pull it and off we go. Again, the top panel is perforated for air to go through. Again, no special dust filter or anything, just very fine mesh for it. And they are consistent for the sizing and design. Accessory box. I like this kind of accessory box because instead of they give you a bunch of plastic bags, different plastic bags, this kind of medicine pill box design is exceptionally useful. Even if you, in the future, if you retire the case, this kind of accessory box, you can still use it to keep your screws and everything else. Good job over here. Something that is slightly unconventional, because most of the time you expect the power supply to be placed at the top or the bottom behind of the case, but this time around this 207 they has placed this power supply at the front. That's why the power supply fan filter is removable, is placed at the front of the case here. Pretty basic plastic mesh, so should be able to do the job of filtering all those nasty stuff away from your power supply. Bottom, nothing else except we have these foam feet. Should provide a sufficient anti-vibration to your desk or from the floor or anything. So front I/O, pretty simple. Just a single power button, no reset button, no ARGB control buttons, no fan control buttons, just one button, power button. Two USB Type A port, one USB Type C port, and a single combo audio jack. And then I suppose the front panel should be easily removed by just pulling it away, maybe, or maybe not. Okay, the front mesh is removable by just pulling from the top here. There's a lip. Just pull it off. Again, the same mesh design, perforated, provide plenty of airflow through the front. Again, no special dust filter over here. They just rely on the fine mesh to filter out as much dust as possible. And there you can have it. The front panel, again, they just have to like push it over. So the front panel can be removed by just carefully pushing out the tabs, the plastic tabs over here. They have in total 6 of them, 3 on both sides. And just be careful, you don't have to yank it with so much force, because you have to remember there are cables that tuck behind here for the front I/O, and most importantly the screen. Otherwise, I really don't see you have any reason you want to remove the front panel, because you already can access to the fans even without removing this panel. You see, you can access to all the screws and remove the fans. And that brings us to the included pre-installed fans. At the front, they have included 2 140mm fans. And at the inside of the case, 2 more 120mm fans. They are all intake fans, so positive pressure, which indirectly reduces the potential dust buildup in the case. Okay, let's talk about the power supply. Power supply placement, yes. This is slightly different because you can see they actually included this power supply extension cable, because unlike the conventional cases, you have the power supply placed at the far behind. Now they decided to move it to the front, so they have to include it. This one, just like any of those ITX cases. So you will just need to slot in the power supply from the back. Screw it to the power supply cage and plug in your power cable through here. As you all know, nowadays we don't really use hard disks anymore. So that's why most of the, back then the case, we have this section made for the hard disk cage and everything. So if you don't use any hard disk, what about we just move the power supply to the front and put more cooling over here, so that you can have direct fan that pulls in cool air and blows towards your GPU. So that's the idea, okay? When I say they sacrifice the hard disk cage to mount the power supply at the front, that doesn't mean that they totally given up on the 2.5 and 3.5 inch drives. They actually still leave the drive mounting option at the bottom of this part here. Basically, just right underneath the fans, you still got enough space to put 2 3.5 inch hard disks without any issue here. Besides, I think this is also quite a good idea to place the hard disk here, because first, the fans will draw in cool air from the side and indirectly cooling the drives. And secondly, it doesn't really get in the way from the conventional way when you like mounting hard disks in a stack options. When you stack 2 hard disks, then you have to like deal with the cable routings and everything, which is quite troublesome. Having 2 side by side, I think it's much more easier to connect the cables, especially the SATA cables. And not to mention that if we look at the back here, it also makes sense because your cable management can be a little bit better because your motherboard tray, you don't have to like leave so much space at the back for the motherboard tray, and most of your cables can be managed at the front size or this segment of the case. As you can see, they have actually provided a large section with these Velcro cable ties to cable manage. Pretty good. If you want to add more fans to the case at the top, you can put maybe 240mm fans. That means that 280 radiator or 360 radiator should not be a problem for this length. And at the back here, another fan mount for the 120mm fans. Again, the selling point of this case is they are offering, well, some sort of MATX size case, but it can support up to ATX motherboard from here. That is through the brilliant rearrangement of the compartments. For example, the power supply from the back to the front here, and then reducing the gap required at the back of the motherboard tray so that theoretically you can still keep the case as slim as possible, but you still get the benefit of support of the tower air cooler, 360 radiator, 140mm fans at the front, no issue, and plenty of cable management at the back here. Okay, finally we get the L connector to recognize the 207 digital display. This is one thing you need to take note. You will need to download the latest L connector software from their website, which is 2.0.29. Previously we were using the 2.0.25 and that one does not support and they will not recognize the display at all. Once you update, then you can start to customize the screen, what you can display over here. By default, they have already included quite a number. I believe there are 12 templates, built-in templates in the mix. Then you can start using it if you don't want to play around with all those customization, because all of these are pretty good based on all the animations. Even the one you just want to look at the nerdy informations like all the numbers, yes, they do available and they are all animated. And some of these are pretty cool as well. Like the one I particularly like is this one. Pretty nice, to be honest. The colors is good, the text, the contrast is just right. But if you're the type of person who prefer to do some customization, you can, of course, follow some of the guidance from the Lian Li's website. Then you can download some of these template files from their Turing Smart Screen. I don't know if this is a part of their thing, but you can use and follow the restriction and then customize your own display and upload it to the L connector software. If you're not the type that willing to go through all those customization, you can also use their built-in customization tool. This includes the basic uploads of your image files or video files and use it as the background image, and then you can use some of their pre-built modules, or that's why they call it modular, the layouts. Then as you can see, this one is their layout they have provided here. All of these information are basic information like the CPU, GPU, RAM, and system utilization of your system resources. If you would like to customize the arrangement of all the modules, yes, you can do so by using this modular page. And one thing I want to complain about the L connector is their software scaling. Like right now I'm using the 1440p resolution display and I have difficulty trying to recognize what kind of modules they are trying to showcase in all of these thumbnails. For example, like I know this is a progress bar or like system resource usage bar, but what does it trying to tell to add? Maybe I can only add into the system and then drag it to enlarge it, then I can only tell, oh, this is the CPU temperature. Once I click apply, then it will start to show on the screen over here. And you can move it around. So plenty of ways you can customize this modular design. Apart from that, they have also additional functions like this one, the offline mode clock. This means that when you turn off your system, they will still draw power from your motherboard and display clock on the display. Otherwise, if you are feeling adventurous, you can enable the second screen option. Yes, the moment you turn on the second screen option, that display is now working as a secondary display. If you can look at the system display, you can see you now have two display here, number 1 and number 2. A secondary display which is powered by just USB 720p, but hey, you can now play YouTube videos over it. Yeah. What do you guys think about this case? Personally, I think this is a pretty good design. They have all the good qualities, for example, nice cable management, a lot of airflow, focused design. Even the included fans, I really like they have opted to include two 140 and two 120 fans inside the mix. Basically, you just need to put in all your components in it and then you can start using the case. The front display is an added bonus for those who prefer to have a customizable displays at the front. I know in the current modern case designs, screens is one of the accessories they would like to add into their cases. In fact, a lot of cases, they have funky screen sizes. And of course, the price is kind of a premium price range for this thing. Originally, it is priced around 600 ringgit Malaysia, but now you can get it for about 400 ringgit plus for the case. Even for the USD, it's about 110 USD for the case. I think it reflects exactly with the USD to MYR conversion, which is about 400 plus ringgit in Malaysia. For this kind of price, I think it is a good, actually it's a good option to go into if you want, especially for the display itself. That thing is actually not cheap if you want to add it into the case by yourself. Other than that, yeah, good design from LANCOOL. Again, this brand or sub-brand has been away for quite some while. Good thing to have them back right now. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or suggestions or comments about this case, you can leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And the drilling starts.